Hi last Cloudians, we are fast approaching our very 2.5 year anniversary, and I hope you have seen the video of Kit and Natasha going through with us what's to come, and also thanks Kit for trying to convey a message in English for us. Appreciate that. Now in this video, it's the usual, gonna be my first impression of the face of our anniversary, Shida. Will he be lighting up the celebration? Will he be worth the wait? Before we go into the video, reminder to show me if you have enjoyed the video by liking it or dislike, and definitely subscribe if you want to be notified about new videos. With that said, let us get right into it. First up, he is going to be a dark element character who can be played physical or as a magic DPS, or even both at the same time. Maybe. Let's look through his physical side first. Skill 1 says a medium area, medium range attack that gap closes to attack again. It seems like the first part of the attack is an AoE around him, and he teleports towards his target for his second part of the attack for a total of 6 hits. From the looks of things, he needs to be within range of the enemy to trigger. Not sure if you have to be in line with the target though. Skill 2 is an instant gap close to behind the target and does his attacks for 10 hits. The utility here is the gap closer. Another important thing here is whether he can be hit while he is teleporting behind the enemy. Now why is this important? As some characters dash into enemy attacks and end up being hit instead. If he totally disappears and appears behind the enemy, this can potentially be very good as it sort of evade enemy attacks going through their attacks and interrupting them from the back. Now S3, it is a wide area, long range attack of 13 hits, which I assume can be casted anywhere on the map. After doing some hits from long range, he dashes in close range for the final attacks. What I can say about this skill is, it is broken in its own way. Almost instant damage for a pretty wide area. I can see that this being useful for interruptions and counter attacks. He can be almost guaranteed safe before he enters into the mix and unleashes his combos after with S1 and S2s. Cool as hell ultimate with 41 hits with insta kill mechanics. Well, it's good for clearing tower. Looking at his traits, Divinity, it writes, battle start, if his STR is close to his int, he gets a 30% STR buff, 40% physical attack damage increase, and 10,000 damage cap. However, if his strength is lesser than int, which means you're running him as a mage probably, he gets 30% int, 40% magic damage, and 10% damage cap for magic. Can you proc both at once? I don't think so. So there is some sort of limitation to running him both as a physical and magic at the same time. Now is there a chance that this only lasts for 40 seconds? Maybe, which is really a bad thing. Now what this trait does is to buff either physical or magic of Shida, depending on how you want to build him. Now we'll come back to this later on. Now trait 2, Body Link, is also a battle start effect. Gives all sorts of buffs, the good ones, everything. You want it, he has it. But it only lasts 40 seconds. Sag. Innate skill sign. Anima Nethershade reduces 20% STR and int of enemies. A very big deal in reducing enemy damage, and it stacks with other debuffs. So it is a great in weakening enemies, particularly boss stages or arena. Imaginary Weapon allows him to equip every single weapon type and increases STR and int by 50%. This means that weapons are 1.5 times their own stat, and if you dual wield, total of 3 weapon stats. Dual wielding gives a lot of bonus stats, so it's probably a definite way of building him. Weak Point Shield. When Shida's weakness is attacked, damage taken minus 30%. This is interesting. Unsure about his attribute weakness at this point, but what's interesting about this is the fact that, if a small minus 5 or minus 10 attribute weakness triggers this skill, and it might be even more beneficial with the minus 30% damage reduction, This also opens up the possibility of equipping items which reduces elemental resistance to force certain elemental weakness on him. Something to play around when I have the spare time. Magus, Sharp Eyes and Magic Aura. Alright, this might be an upgrade to our existing powerhouse skill for both magic and physical DPS, or can it be only for Shida? Looking at the definition of the word Magus, it means sorcerer. I doubt they will put this word for both of this skill if they are teachable. I would also assume that it does not stack with the original Sharp Eyes and Magic Aura, so it effectively just adds 5k damage cap respectively. One thing to take note here is that if you do not have the MP to pay for the skill, you will most likely also not get the 5k damage cap. Lastly, we have Divinity Gazer, which is the magic version of Divinity Slayer, doing slayer damage on gods, dragons, spirits, and undead. So meaning Shida has both magic and physical slayers for all these types, gives that flexibility once again for either magic or physical damage. Looking at all his other innate skills, what I can see is a very balanced approach on both physical and magic skills. He has stats up, some slayers, special boost, Giga weak as a spell, all the dark magic, dark boost, dark damage boost, Goddess Kiss to maintain his MP, and Awaken Shrouded Light, which is a Lily skill, right? It gives 30% more light and dark magic damage and enables crit on them. Okay, you know what I'm saying, both magic and physical are covered on most bases. On paper, he does have a lot of buffs, and on both magic and physical damage. I have been saying this so many times now. Let's put this into perspective, right? Given his damage cap, he doesn't have mega boost and weapon boost for that. Therefore, his magic and physical damage cap, they are at 17,000, which translates to 26,999 damage for his damage cap. You know, after all this talk, I'm not sure if you guys find it familiar. Ah yes, our god, not too long ago. I remember during his video, I did mention that I was afraid how the new characters will look like after the release of this god Loug. Now we are looking at a rather similar version, but probably a better one. Let's do a few comparisons, shall we? Now they are both capable of playing as a physical damage dealer or a mage. Now damage cap wise, Loug is only at 21,999, with Shida better at 26,999. However, Loug does more hits with all his skills, with S1 2 hits, S2 2 hits, S3 5 hits. Now if considering dual wielding, which is likely the case, Loug is still going to do more overall damage. Also, Loug has more slayer types compared to Shida, especially human slayer. Now an interesting thing here is, Loug is unable to equip any weapon and has a skill which buffs his stats. Shida on the other hand can equip every weapon and has a skill that buffs the weapon stats. I would say that Shida is better in that aspect, as having two weapons can provide additional skills which might be more valuable than not having any. But in terms of overall wise, in my opinion, Loug has the advantage here. However, in terms of magic damage wise, Shida wins this one. Damage cap is a clear sign as hits on spells are fixed. Not to mention Shida has slightly more magic damage buffs like Awaken Shrouded Light and All Gone Ring. Basically, they are very similar, and if you know how OP Loug is, Shida won't be weak at all. Moving on to the Council of 10, really nice arc having a lot of the important figures of the game in this arc. Arc trait for each soldier, knight, sorcerer or sniper type that is on a living ally. Damage plus 1% and damage taken minus 1% up to 10%. So this technically means you have to have a mimicry on your teammates just so that the character equipping this arc has the buff. And notice that this is only on your allies. I think you can't have it on him. The mimicries have to be on your allies, which are on your other teammates. Now I don't see this as a problem for PvE fights, but I don't think it's worth it for the 10% damage and 10% damage reduction. Upon using the arc skill, max stock plus 1, max skill stock plus 1 during wave. Lastly, I think the damage cap increase by 2k is permanent. So for the rest of the wave, right? unit will have a +1 skill stock. This is a very big thing for a damage dealer, especially for people with Windreeze, Apple Pie or Honey Elixir. Now with Popper Orb, you can +2 to all skill stocks. Wow! Ark skill refills all SCT gauge and allies recover 1 SCT stock for all skills. Now this is a game changer. A must-have for competitive players? Damn. Now teachable skills, Fighting Spirit 2, nice addition to our skill list. Formation Eldana attack is something like the Ark trait. Now if there is 2 units in the party and all are alive, unit with this skill gets a 5% damage boost and takes 5% less damage. It will be useful if I believe the SCT cost of this, the SC cost of this skill is less than 4. Let's see. Light Critical Rays, finally teachable, very good skill there. Finally to the Ark Ether Reward, Imperial Flag of Honor. It is a flag with no attribute, battle start trait again, man, not my favorite man. Applies a physical and magic attack damage buff plus 20% to all allies. Looking at the stats, it gives STR, Int and MND averaged out stats wise. Given its 150-ish, 160 stats, it feels like it is either meant for supports, which don't really care about Int or STR, but has MND, or it is for Shida. Cause honestly, the stats is really low. Usually stats start off closer to 200. Maybe the 20% buff to all allies is supposed to cover for this. And the fact that Shida is able to plus 50% of the stats of this stuff, taking the stats to 226 STR and 244 Int, looks pretty decent if you also add dual wheel to him. Alright, there you have it for my first look on Shida. Honestly, I don't see him much on an upgrade to Loug's, which means I'll probably skip him. What? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Shida and did I miss anything special about this beast. I love his ultimate animation. I said that already, right? Now if you found this video useful, do click on the like button, it's free and it will help me get the video out there to more awesome people like you. If you want to be notified of such videos and maybe other videos that I come up with, subscribe. 2.5 year anniversary, Last Cloudia, here we come.